out of how not to mirror. And I'm going to start with these 3 elements and make 4 different sort of configurations or bouquets. Since they're floral, I can call them bouquets. I'm going to make 4 different versions, one for each corner. And I have to keep the original, so I'm basically in Photoshop just going to make a set of these and group them and call them the original. That's just so I can keep them organized. And I'll just copy that original grouping every time so I don't get rid of the original. So anyway, the first one I'm going to keep really simple. I'm going to basically use what's already happening here and try to make a little bouquet and merge them together. And I'm also going to rescale them at the end so that they fit a little bit better, but I can also rotate them. So I'm just going to say this is one, and then I'm going to copy that grouping again and make another one. So I'm sort of working on top of myself here, so let me move that out of the way. So the second one that I make is not going to be the same order. I'm going to switch positions and angle things a little bit differently. Obviously, I can edit this as well. I could take some of it off and make this one a little bit shorter, or change some of the direction of the petals, etc. But I'll just make it a quick version of that. This one is the same. I can go in and say, instead of it being that long, I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter. All of this can also be done in the drawing stage. You don't have to do it digitally. It's just the idea that you're creating similar looking groupings as if you had flowers and you were just rearranging them. But they don't look exactly the same every time. And then this one might be a little trickier to keep the look of the yarrow, but I'll do it like this. Tilt it in or something. Probably have liked to do that in the drawing stage a little bit more. I'm going to merge that together. So now I have these 3 that look similar but not exactly the same. Maybe get rid of a little bit more of this one since it looks like it got broken. And I'll get rid of that as well. So in this one, I'm going to flip it horizontally here. This one's going to be on the left hand or the right hand side. This one's now going to be in the middle. And so the video isn't too long. I might just end up doing 2 of them and showing you that, but the idea is that each one of them would be different. I'll go in the center here, and then maybe bring this one over to, and the other thing is I could add like a separate element in here, or I could change the number of things that are happening in there, or I could take a section of one and kind of move it so it's also coming through the other side. It's just about the variation. Well, that looks ugly, but you get the idea. So I'm going to merge those together. And I'm going to put this one in this corner. Not my finest work, but I can always tweak it. And then this one could be in this corner and maybe scaled down a little bit so that it doesn't feel like it's so much bigger. Again, I'm just going to keep tweaking it until I feel like it has a nice balance starting to come together. There. So I could continue and do all 4, but I just wanted to show you that variation. And even just with 2 of them being like this, I can stop and think, oh wow, these are going to be directly across from each other, and that's going to be really obvious. I don't want that to be so obvious, so let me, instead of having them across from each other, I will take this one off entirely, and then I'm going to bring an element from over here and use 2 of this on this side. Sort of limiting myself by only having 2 or 3 elements there, but I think that this could be an interesting variation to put in here, and then maybe adding something from here up in the corner so that there's like not none of those, but just not as much of it there. So I'm going to take this away. So you can see where it's going here now. I've taken a look at it and to see like, oh, when I start doing this, is this going to be too similar? Now that I've done that, actually, I feel like I really like that extra thing sticking out there, but I don't want to put another one here. So maybe what I'll do is just balance it by putting sort of a half one here coming out from a lower spot. Just to give a little bit of balance and weight to that. Start to see something kind of interesting happen there. And then I'm going to take this one and, oops, sorry. I'm going to take this one and yeah, picking the wrong area, my bad. Just bring it in a little just for the sake of not having it be so big. Okay, so now that I have those, I'm really going to take them and just use the 2 of them and rotate it 180. So let me merge them all together and see what happens when I duplicate this and rotate it 180 degrees. So at least they're going to be in opposite corners as opposed to right across from each other. I actually really like the way that looks, and I like that it's not perfectly balanced, that it sort of has this movement to it. But if you wanted to balance it more, now would be the time to go in and add things here, add things there, etc. And then again, going back to the center, we might want to think about what is the center going to do? Are they going to connect to each other, or is there going to be another shape that happens in here? You know, there's no reason why you can't cut them off earlier and make space for some other drawing that's going to sit in the middle there. I think that's a pretty good example of what I'm talking about by creating that variation. And yes, you could do that same thing. I'll make a copy of it. You could do that same thing with mirroring if you were smart about how the mirroring is happening. So if I take this section here, I'll take the top section and just mirror this half. I hope you can see like immediately the weird thing that's going to happen, that suddenly it stops looking organic and starts looking like a Rorschach test. But if you like that mirroring effect, I would just create variation in the areas that touch. So leaving the corner or the outer corners alone and taking something like this and altering it in a way that doesn't make the viewer see the mirroring before the content. Sorry, I have to redo that. And I have no idea what I've done here. I got a little bit lost. Oh, I lost my selection. Sorry. It's because I have slippery fingers. Okay, so this one here to this one here. This one I was going to say, oh my gosh, what is going on? Try it again. Okay, this one, edit, transform, flip, vertical, and even just creating a little bit of this scale variation and directional variation might start to change it, but I can still see the mirroring, and the mirroring is a little bit distracting. Like in nature, you would never see that perfect mirroring, and I think that's what I'm trying to get you all away from. Actually, you know what might be cute is if I get rid of that entirely and bring something like this over and rescale it a bit so that there's a section here that's dark. Make it a little longer maybe. Make it curve a little bit. That's nice. Yeah, that's good. So it sort of feels like it's supposed to be there. And then you can clean up all of that too. But this would give me a whole different look. So when I'm done, I have this layer saved so I can show you each one of them and what it looks like. So this one would be these two. And I was trying not to make a long video, but hopefully this is making sense. And then if I take this and just mirror it, I'm going to be in the same boat. But if I rotate it 180, then at least I'm getting a little bit of variation there. I think I would have to fix the middle too. So I'm not a huge fan of this one, but I think this one looks good. And I think you can understand what I'm talking about when I'm saying balancing the corners without mirroring. All right, I'm going to end this video here and see if I can do one more that talks about the field in the middle and the border around the outside.